everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tails Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have an inspiration hop for the latest Countdown to Christmas release by Scrappy Tails, and my video today showcases a couple of the new products, including the two new incentive products, this 4x6 Christmas icons stamp set, and the mini pop-up boxes die set. I'll use the actual dies as well as the 3x4 stamp set that's included. So today I created a lot of little projects that coordinate together. So I created 2 cards, 2 ornament tags, and then 2 little countdown home decor pieces that I'll share at the end. But I'm going to start with the 2 cards, and these were very simple to create, a great card design to mass produce in different colors. So this first one is going to use traditional colors. So I'm going to take the Christmas icons stamp, and a couple of the icons I'm going to stamp with green ink, which is Cottage Ivy by Memento, some with some dark red ink by Hero Arts, and then some I'm going to gold heat emboss. So I'm stamping all of those out with my Versamark ink. And then once everything is stamped on the background, I will pour my gold embossing powder over those Versamark areas so that the gold powder will stick, and then I can just heat set it. So I am using, I would say, about 7 or 8 icons from the stamp set, and just randomly stamping them onto this craft panel, which is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. You can see that I am stamping some of the images off the paper, so they're partially cut off. I do like that look. It kind of looks like a piece of pattern paper that I cut down to size. So I am purposely doing that. No particular way I'm stamping these. I'm trying to get the images as close together as possible, and it ends up looking pretty evenly spaced. It ended up working out pretty nicely. So I really wanted to create the traditional card version as well as a fun like winter color scheme. So off camera I did the exact same thing. I might have changed up the icons slightly just because there's so many to choose from on the stamp set, but I instead inked them up with blue and pink ink, and then again, some of them I inked up with Versamark to add some gold heat embossed icons as well. And that's going to add a really pretty metallic shine to these backgrounds. It's going to look like a specialty cardstock. So now that everything is stamped, I'm pouring over my gold embossing powder. And because I use dye inks for the red and green icons, that embossing powder is not going to stick to the red and green icons, only to the Versamark. So if you guys want to do this technique, I would suggest using dye inks for your colored portions, because if you use pigment inks, it's possible that your embossing powder is going to stick to those areas. So here's the other version I created with gold, blue, and pink on a white background. I also off camera did gold, pink, and blue on a light pink panel. And I'll end up using all 3 panels. I just wasn't sure if I wanted the light pink or the white background. I ended up really liking the light pink one for my card, but because I spent that extra time doing the white one, I'm going to use that one to create some quick holiday tags. All right, so here is my pink panel. Again, I used, I think, Rosebud Memento ink and some Blue Splash Hero Arts ink, and then the same gold embossing powder by Ranger. All of those icons are from the Christmas Icons 4x6 stamp set. And here I have an ornament. This ornament is an incentive die. It's also available for separate purchase. I don't have a lot of these left, but if you spend $150 or more with Scrappy Tails, you will get this die for free. And like I said, it's also available for separate purchase if you don't meet that $150 mark. And you will also receive the free 3x4 Countdown to Christmas stamp that I'm going to show you a little bit later on in today's video. Here I am just assembling the ornament, so it includes a Merry Christmas sentiment that I love to use separately, you know, on regular cards as a sentiment, but it also is meant to glue on top of the ornament. So I cut the Merry Christmas twice from heavyweight white cardstock, once from gold mirror cardstock. I layered the white behind the gold to add some dimension. And the little ornament cuts out little stars. I kept the stars that were cut, and I did cut this ornament from white glitter cardstock. There I was trying to decide if I want to add gold glitter behind the stars or blue glitter. I ended up going with the gold glitter, and I'm just going to freehand cut the backing. And when I laid it on top of my background, I kind of felt like it was a little bit too busy. So I'm going to pull in some vellum, but before I do that, I'm going to add the topper for my ornament. Again, I cut that out twice from heavyweight white cardstock, once from gold. I layered the white behind the gold to add dimension. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my vellum. So I die cut the vellum twice from an oval die in my stash. And I did it twice because the one layer of vellum still was too busy for me. So adding two, I feel is perfect. I did pop up my ornament with foam tape. I added it to one oval vellum. Once that was adhered, I then glued my second oval. And I'm only adding glue behind the ornament because you can see adhesive through vellum. So I'm trying to make sure that it all stays behind the ornament. So as you can see, when I added that second layer of vellum, you can hardly see what's behind it, but you can still get a little bit of a hint if you look at it closely. All right, so I'm going to flip my panel over and add it to my top folding A2 card base. And as an embellishment on this card, I thought it would be fun to use little stars that die cut out from the ornament and just add a few of those around the vellum oval. And that's all I'm going to do to this card. You can obviously add a bow to the ornament or a little string connecting to the top of the card, but I left it as is. I thought it was really pretty. I didn't want to cover up any more of that pretty background. So that is going to finish off my first card. Now the second card is very similar, it's just the different colors. And instead of die cutting my ornament from white glitter cardstock and gold mirror, I decided to cut the base from red plaid pattern paper. I added gold glitter behind the stars, and then again I cut the Merry Christmas and the ornament topper from the gold mirror. I also added the 2 layers of white so that the sentiment would pop off more. And because this background is muted with the craft cardstock, I actually felt like I didn't need any vellum on this card. So I'm just going to pop up the ornament with some foam tape and glue it right to the center. And this time I'm going to use some gold pearls for my embellishments on this card. So while I glue these pearls down, I want to mention that this video is a part of a blog and video inspiration hop for the latest Scrappy Tails Countdown to Christmas collection. So hopefully this hop is going to give you guys lots of Christmas inspiration, and every person along the hop is going to be featuring some new products from the latest release. I will link to the next person on the hop, which is Waleska, and if you leave a comment on every video and every blog, you can enter into the chance to win one of 3 $25 gift cards to Scrappy Tails. The more you comment, the more entries you get into the giveaways. So try to comment on as many as you can, and also consider subscribing to everyone that is on the hop. These designers spend a lot of time making these videos and blogs. So, if you like their content, please consider subscribing to them. Also, subscribe to the Scrappy Tails YouTube channel. This is the only channel where you will see only Scrappy Tails inspiration. I post a lot of pop-up card tutorials over here, and also I do give more prizes away during the product showcase videos for new releases. Speaking of which, our last product showcase video, which I posted last Friday, is still open for the giveaway. So I am going to be giving away a $50 gift card to Scrappy Tails. If you leave a comment on that video, I will have a link to that in the video description. I'm going to keep that open until next Friday. And on Saturday, I will post all the winners, so the 3 winners for today's hop, and then the grand prize winner from that showcase video. And I will probably most likely post that in the community tab as well as on the Scrappy Tails blog. So while I was talking about all of that, I created my little bonus tags. These were not really what I intended on doing, but because I wasn't a huge fan of that white background, I thought, why not cut the pieces that I do like and make them into smaller tags. So I used some circle dies as well as the toppers from that freebie ornament and some of the sentiments from the Christmas icon stamp to stamp out the sentiment, Merry Christmas, do not open until Christmas Eve, on the back of these tags. And I didn't add anything on top of these patterned circles just because I thought that they were really pretty. And because they're small images, I felt like covering them would obviously cover the majority of the pattern. So I left it as is, and I only stamped the sentiment on the back of them. I used some more glitter cardstock. I used blue and pink for these tags. So here's that little sentiment. I stamped that one out with some Teal Zeal Memento ink. I added my topper. And then on my first tag, I added white twine. On this one, I'm going to add pink and white twine. So these were super quick and easy. I frequently like to create tags that match my card designs because I like to include handmade gifts usually during the holidays. So I thought that these turned out really cute. Here are some close-up pictures. And now I'm going to move on to the mini Christmas countdowns, and they're sort of like a home decor piece. They're definitely something that would be displayed on a desk. So here I have the little boxes from the mini pop-up box die set. I cut 4 from white cardstock and 4 from craft, again to match those 2 cards I just created. And I'm going to stamp out the numbers from the Christmas icon 4x6 stamp set onto these cutouts. These are going to create little cubes that are going to be dice, obviously, because I am stamping out numbers. And you really don't have to turn the numbers like you see here. I have them in different directions. It doesn't matter because you're going to be turning the dice anyway. So I'm just kind of stamping willy-nilly here. Basically, all you want to make sure is that you stamp a number on each of the squares of the dice. So that would be a total of 6 numbers. I have 4 of each color because some numbers are going to be repeated. So like 11 days until Christmas has 2 ones. So I'm going to have to make sure that I have 2 dice that each have the number 1. So I felt like 4 was enough. I didn't need 4. I think I only needed 3. But I also wanted to have 1 dice that had Christmas icons that were round in order to mimic a 0. So I'm actually not stamping out any zeros right now, even though there is a 0 included in the 4x6 stamp. I thought it would be cuter to use the icons, you know, like an ornament, which is round. I thought that could look like a 0. So on 1 designated dice, I'm going to have a couple round icons that I'm going to stamp out instead of the numbers. I'm also going to repeat the numbers 1 and 2 because those are the numbers that are going to be needed on 2 dice. So I hope that makes sense. You can pause the video to see exactly which numbers I'm stamping out. It really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that 2 of the dice have 1 and 2. All right, so now I have the rectangle boxes from the mini pop-up box die set. I cut 2 from craft cardstock and 2 from white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp out the words days until Christmas. This sentiment is included in the mini pop-up box die set. You're also going to get a 3x4 stamp set that has a bunch of different sentiments that say days until Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, Easter, spring, fall, Thanksgiving, basically any sentiment you can come up with so that you can create multiple countdowns leading up to really any holiday of the year. That way you can get multiple uses out of this die set. You don't only have to create a countdown to Christmas. So for the white rectangles, I am stamping with blue ink by Hero Arts. Here I am stamping that days until Christmas on each of the 4 rectangles on that die. You don't have to do that. In fact, I would recommend only stamping that sentiment on 1 rectangle out of the 4 because you're going to end up, forming this into a box that's going to have that on all 4 sides, which I thought wouldn't be a big deal, but on the top you're going to see I'm going to end up covering it because I felt like it was too distracting. So you'll see that a bit later. Basically, long story short, only stamp days until Christmas on 1 of the 4 rectangles. So I wanted a decorative piece in the center of these countdowns. So I have an oval here, which I cut from cream cardstock, and I'm using the incentive 3x4 stamp from the latest release. And you will receive this stamp if you spend $75 or more with Scrappy Tails. This one is only an incentive. It's not available for separate purchase. And again, once they're gone, they will not be reproduced. And I love this stamp specifically for this mini countdown home decor thing I have going on here. So I stamped out Christmas Countdown with Versamark ink, and I'm going to pour red embossing powder over that sentiment. Then I stamped the main number tree image, so it's just a bunch of numbers in the shape of a Christmas tree. I stamped that out with Versamark, and I'm carefully pouring over green embossing powder. So I'm doing some selective heat embossing here. I have a paintbrush to remove any excess powder. And if you're careful, you're not going to get any overlapping. So I did that to 2 ovals because I knew this would be a front to back type home decor piece, and I just wanted everything to look clean. You don't have to do that. You really only need 1 oval because you're only going to look at it from the front. So for my white countdown, I stamped the Christmas Countdown with the same blue ink by Hero Arts, and then the tree, I decided to use gold embossing powder, and this is on a light pink oval. So now that those are all heat set, I can start assembling these countdowns, and they are so fun. I love how these turned out. So what I like to do is first reinforce all of my score lines. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not gluing anything down. I like to point all the score lines upwards and then also downwards to make sure that everything is nicely creased. Now I'm going to attach everything together. So you can see in the center there's one long piece. Then there is a panel to the right of that. On the top and bottom tabs of that panel, I am adding my glue. And then I am pushing the panel up to adhere to that long piece. I'm going to do the same thing with the panel that's to the left of that long piece. I'm going to add my glue to the top and bottom tabs and push it upwards to adhere to that long piece. It's a little bit difficult for me to explain. I think, it's easier to see what I'm doing and pause it as you go than for me to explain it. I did slow down the video so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I am gluing each tab one at a time just to make sure that everything is nice and adhered. I'm giving it a good 10 seconds per tab because I am using liquid glue. If you want quick adhesion that's instant, you can use double-sided tape instead. So then I'm going to fold in the little tabs, and then I will add glue to this long tab and tuck it inside to close the box. And then you can see on all 4 sides the days until Christmas. Now I'm going to show you how to glue together the cube, and it's the same exact thing. This is just a square essentially instead of a rectangle. So I'm reinforcing those score lines again, going up and down. This is just going to ensure that everything will be easy to glue together. You can see that long horizontal piece in the center. I'm going to glue the tabs to the left and right of that long piece. Push that panel up in order to adhere the tab to that long piece. And I am gluing one tab at a time. Then I'll go to the panel that's left of the long piece, push it up, adhere that tab to the long piece, hold it down to ensure that it's nice and adhered, and then I'll do the same thing to the other side. And what's fun about these little cubes is they are 3/4 inches, so they fit behind the doors of the advent calendar. And in a tutorial I posted, I believe on Sunday, I show how to use these boxes inside the calendar so that you get more uses out of this die set. But I thought that this mini countdown was so cute. I plan on making some advent calendars and the mini countdowns to match for Thanksgiving. I thought they would be the perfect little gift, and inside the calendar I plan on putting Hershey Kisses. All right, so I am finishing off the other side of the cube. I'll fold in those two tabs and then I will close the dice off by adhering the lid inside the box. Just like any other box you may have assembled, I know there's larger box dies out there for gifts, so this is the same exact thing. It's just a very, very small cube. And then you can see I rotated it to show that there is a number on each side of the dice. I'm going to glue my ovals back to back. I have my two rectangular pieces I also plan on gluing back to back. I'm going to glue my oval more towards the left so that I can glue my dice to the right. I have my glue. I'm going to stick these two rectangles together. And then in between, I'm going to glue my Christmas countdown. And then here's where I decide I want to cover that text at the top. So I die cut another rectangle from craft cardstock and I just cut the panels off and glued them right on top. And then here I have my 4 dice, and because this is something that stands upright, I had to tilt it so that you guys can see how this works. So you would start with 25 days until Christmas on December 1st. Then the next day you would put 24 days until Christmas, 23, 22, 21, and then 20. And that's where I use the ornament as the 0. And it's so cute that you can just flip the dice to change the numbers every day leading up to the holiday. Here I have my pink countdown. Same thing, I glued the 2 rectangles back to back, as well as my 2 ovals that I'm going to stick right in between those 2 rectangles. I die cut another rectangle box and I'm going to just hand cut the panels off to glue on top of the text that I stamped out. I think that just looks a lot cleaner. And then I will add my dice over to the right. And I love that these match the cards that I created at the beginning of this video, so it'd be a really cute gift set to give to someone. Here I'm showing you guys how you just flip the dice every day leading up to Christmas. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section. And if you haven't yet already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I post my next video. All right, everyone, I hope you have fun on the hop, and remember to leave your comments so that you enter into the chance to win those gift cards. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.